This is a perfect question to start the Q&A with. I actually just started thinking about what I'm going to be taking care of this month. My to-do list is always extremely long. I would like to catch up on editing all the content I have. That's probably top of my list. But right up there also is just working on more marketing for my courses and trainings and all of that, so I can sort of up my game for passive income in 2025 because I really need it. I have some ambitious goals that I want to reach. I have a lot of ideas that I'm going to be working on and implementing in the courses that I have. I don't know if I'm going to be releasing any new online resources. I think I'm just going to build out the ones that I have, but those are the things that are kind of top of mind. It's always how I can make more money in the following year. That's what I think about usually in December, but that's me. But this is something we should all be doing at the end of the year. Think of anything that you want to wrap up. Think of things that you can get proactively working on for next year. This is the perfect time of year to do it. I haven't got invited to a client wedding I don't even remember the last time I got invited. It's got to be like a decade. If it's someone that I don't know, I don't get invitations. I'll have like people in passing be like, oh, you should come by. And I'm always just like, oh, no, thank you. It's past my bedtime. No, thank you. Like I'm already exhausted from working. So I usually just say straight up, no, thank you. That's just how I am. I'm a very direct person and I don't feel bad saying no. And that's just what works for me. I am obsessed with underlash, specifically self-adhesive underlash clusters. They're my new favorite thing. This is Velour's fault. They did this to me. I got another question from another artist about lash applications and do I prefer clusters, underlash, or full strip, and definitely clusters. And definitely under the lash. So you can use a strip lash and cut it up. I do this all the time. You just want to make sure that the bands that you're using are thinner bands and better yet, flat bands. So any invisible band, any very fine band is what you want. When the bands are thicker, the problem with this is it's going to be more uncomfortable for your clients and it's actually going to sit a little lower under the lash so you'll be able to see it, and that's not what we want. Part of the underlash, one of the advantages of it is that it looks pretty much seamless. So play around with it, try it on yourself first with anything so you can see how it feels, what it looks like. But scissors, any lash glue that works for you. I prefer tacky lash glue, velour, or that duo one, and you just put them on. This is something you're gonna have to feel out. There's no rules about this. I see a lot of content with makeup artists saying you must increase your rates every single year and it has to be by this percentage. And in my experience, and I'll just go from my experience, this is not how it works, because there are certain clients where I don't see them every week or every month. I'll see them a couple times a year. So in my experience, I've raised my rates for bridal and for my on-set stuff every 2 years. That's just what feels natural to me. And I think it's something you have to consider. It's not going to be linear. It's not going to be automatic thing. You might work with clients once or twice and you go and raise your rates and your clients might not like that because you haven't really developed a relationship with them. So that's one thing to consider. The other thing is if I raised my rates every single year that I was working, and this is like a really sad part of our industry, I would be priced out and no one would hire me because I'd be priced higher than pretty much every makeup artist in Toronto. So I can't actually raise my rates every year. There are so many things about this industry that are not fair, and what I just mentioned where I can't actually raise my rates every year because no one would hire me because the budget's just not there. That's the reality in my market, in the area of the industry that I work in. I just can't raise my rates 20 to 30% or whatever it is every year. It just doesn't make sense. The other thing is sometimes I raise my rates based on the workload that I'm doing for my clients. So I will start at one rate with my clients, and then if they keep loading on responsibilities and the shoot days get longer, and let's just say the overtime, if there's an example, the overtime I'm charging is getting to be a little bit too much, I will reconsider what my daily rate is and we'll come to an understanding about what makes sense for payment for me. So that's the other thing you have to consider, your scope of work. I also have worked with clients that have grown very quickly in the past, and they've made big changes in how we shoot, how many people we shoot, the number of days, the length of time. So all of this goes into consideration for rates and raising your rates and all of that. So you can, I don't want to say never, but I'm going to say probably not. I've attended a lot of virtual classes myself and I just don't really like them. I'm just going to be honest. I find them sometimes hard to follow if the audio is not good, if the camera angle is not right. Like I personally just get more out of watching pre-recorded videos on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, whatever. So it's not something that I would do because I myself don't find value in it. I don't want to say never, because if the right opportunity arises, of course I would do virtual class. If I was being paid enough and paid the right amount, I would do it. But as far as like doing them myself for people, I probably wouldn't, because I just it's a whole other thing that I would need to learn about, and I don't have the time or like bandwidth to learn all that right now. And just back to the fact that I just don't enjoy watching them myself. I don't know, something about them I just don't really like, but that's just me. Good question. I actually normally I kind of shy away from these questions because it's hard for me to set goals, because this job is so unpredictable and things can change in an instant. But on the top of my list of what I want to accomplish in the future, it's always to make more money than the year before. So I am very motivated by finances. So definitely earn more money. I am hoping next year brings more partnerships with brands, more sponsored content. I really want to get my hands on more free products so I can do more content, more demos, and teach about products from my point of view as a working artist. That's really something that's also on the top of my list. So I'd like to have some relationships with bigger brands, hopefully for paid content and partnerships and things like that. I also want to make sure that my classes, courses, whatever it is, are top tier, best in the business. That's also what I'm aiming for. So those are all the things that are on my list of what I want to accomplish. I have really stopped trying to downsize and make my kit small and lightweight, because I've come to terms with the fact that that just doesn't work with me, and it doesn't work for my workflow and the roster of clients that I'm currently servicing. I have clients that are exceptionally demanding. They will ask me for absurd things in the middle of the day without warning. I have jobs where I'm working with 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 talent. I'll have a job where I think there's 4 talent and there's actually 12. So this lightweight, tiny little micro kit, or just all the depotting, which PS is friggin' absurd what's going on with our industry and all of this. It just doesn't, it's not functional for me. I will downsize and make things work just to support my kit being versatile and functional, because my clients pay me to show up as a professional, and that's what it means to be professional. So this idea of working like very lean, it just it doesn't work for me. I don't feel good if I feel like my kit is not fully stocked. So that's where I'm at with it. I think if you are trying to downsize and make your kit as lightweight as possible, don't do this if you're a new makeup artist. You have to really figure out how you like to work and how you like to use certain products. And I think another part of this is also being able to depot in a way that helps you work hygienically, which I think a lot of people are disregarding with depotting. And also think about how your kit looks, right? Some of these depotted kits look like a grade 3 craft project. They're very hard to clean and maintain. So if you're going to be downsizing, first make sure you know exactly how you use your products, the type of situations that you're going to be working in. Make sure that the containers that you're depotting into are easy to use and you're not losing money on product, because some of the costs of these kits for depotting, it's like you're buying the same product twice just in order to be able to use it or put it into a palette that's like a couple centimeters smaller than the palette that the product comes in. So think about that. That's all I have to say on this. I couldn't give you a list. I am a product junkie at heart. That's how I got into this in the first place. But I think it's just something I can't afford. And I sort of shut down that part of my brain because I will go bankrupt buying product. And I learned to shut that down a long time ago. So I keep my eye on things, but I don't look too long because that's where I get into trouble. I think I'd like to try more products from some of the higher end brands like Armani, Chanel. I would say Hourglass is up there, but they're dead to me because they took away the pro discount. Anyways, there's also some K-beauty stuff that I would like to try. And then I see stuff on social that's trending, like a couple products from Huda, from One Size. Like there's so many brands that I'd love to try, especially when it comes to complexion, because I'm so curious about certain things, but that's all I can think of for right now. I will just tell you the blushes I like. I'm very picky with a lot of things. I'm going to say this again, even though they're dead to me. The Hourglass blush is fantastic. Powder blush. I really like that formulation. I love the original, just MAC blushes. Powder formulation, awesome. As far as other powders I like, Anastasia blush is really great. Juvia's Place powder blush is awesome. What else am I using? As for cream, Rare Beauty is my top right now. And then I also like RCMA as just a traditional, more kind of moisturizing formulation. Great cream blush as well. But I don't have one. I need to be versatile, so I like to have a lot of textures and finishes to play with, but those are some of my favorite. Bronzer, I have cream and powder in my kit. My favorite cream is probably the Charlotte Tilbury, but because the color range doesn't work on everyone's skin, I have a few shades from NARS. Those are great for your more neutral olivey undertone, so those are my two favorite cream bronzers. As far as powder bronzers, I really like Fenty. I love the shade range. I do like NARS. I'm trying to think if there's any other ones that I've tried. And I do really like the Charlotte Tilbury, but I can't with the big palette. I just can't with that big gold thing. Maybe I can. I don't know. It's just so annoying, the size of that. But I think those are my favorite ones.